So today we're going to talk to you on the other side of the camera, our video camera, watching me. I'm going to talk to you today about my two leopard boas. And leopard boas tend to be, I guess if, I'm just sitting here honestly telling you, it's just how they're bred, that gives them, I guess, a leopard pattern. And it's very unique. They're darker snakes. They tend to have black heads and black eyes, and it's just how they're genetically raised, or how they're bred from the other snakes. And they tend to be dwarf, which means they're smaller boas, and they tend to be, the females are probably around the 4 foot range, and the males, if I'm telling you right, tend to probably be around 4 to 5 feet long. I'm not an expert in this, but I found these, or I found my first one, and I was like, man, that is a very, very cool looking snake. It's my second one, or my first one that I got. This is my second one that I got, and there's a story behind that, and if you go and check some other videos out, you might be able to find that, but I'm not going to go into it much here. But I thought I lost my first one that I purchased from Snakes at Sunset that I was in love with. I was so appreciative to have that snake, and it was so tiny when I got it, and it ended up getting into such a small area, and I thought I had lost that snake, or that snake had been possibly eaten, or it just got out and I couldn't find it. So I kind of, in my being a little unhappy, I turned around and tried to go find another snake similar to that one. I really thought that one was gone. And so I went and purchased another one, and I went to Morph Market. And this one is where I got Carmela. Or no, actually, this is Paisley. This is where I got Paisley from, was Morph Market, and under leopard boas. So I'm trying to show you this snake, but it's going all around. Look at its belly. It's so, so gorgeous, especially... it's a reddish pink, kind of like, I've heard the term fire belly with tegus, a fire belly tegu. So very, very colorful under the belly. You don't really see that in a lot of the boas. And then the pattern on the back. And then you get a little bit more pattern on some more white with some lines, some stripes on the tail. And I just wanted to make more videos with my boas. They're just very, very difficult to get out of the enclosure that I have them in. They're just very, very happy in there. And when I go to grab them out, they're all coiled up together. They're in small little spaces that I provide them. So they're hard to get out. They don't really want to leave what their little environment that they're in. And so they attach onto everything, and they balloon their bodies up so that it's difficult to pull them out. And again, I don't want to make them unhappy by pulling them out. The snakes don't get pissy with me, and they don't bite me, they don't hiss, and so they're very even and very good temperament is what I'm trying to say. And so these snakes, unless there's food, they don't seem to get upset with me and hiss or strike at me, and that's a very good thing. I don't like that at all. So they're very easy in that regards to get out. It's just difficult to pull them out. But these snakes tend to, the leopard boas have black heads and black eyes. I've got more light in the background, more of the white light to kind of try to show more detail of the snakes. But it might be very, very difficult because my camera doesn't focus up close. But a darker brown, chocolate brown head. And one of my snakes has a more black head, and they have very, very dark, black looking eyes. And so very, very cool pattern, a leopard pattern, I guess like a leopard in the wild, kind of that leopard pattern. This one definitely, being the term or the name Paisley, just kind of a complex pattern of different colors. Paisley clothes were big in the 90s. and I was probably in my 18 to 20-ish, early 20s in the 90s. And so I had some Paisley vests and some Paisley clothes, and where we would go out partying and clubbing and stuff, and Paisley was big then. So I just came up with the name Paisley for this beautiful little female right here. When I got this snake was about, I gotta recall, about 2 feet long, maybe a little bit shorter than that, and now the snake is about 3 feet long. This snake is probably close to about 3 years old, and again, probably about 3 feet in length. And it's a female. Hopefully I mentioned that. Both of my leopard boas are females. This was actually classified on Morph Market as a Sonoran leopard boa, so there was a little bit more details about this one. My first one that I got that I'm going to show you here after I show you this one had more information, and the other one at Snakes at Sunset just said leopard boa, and this one is a Sonoran leopard boa. So I'm not a specialist in the breeding segment of boas and snakes and lizards. It's not a big thing to me. I just buy what I like and just enjoy them for what they are. I tend to be more of just a standard snake person, not these different colored morphs and these different things that people are coming up with. But in this case, I was pretty happy to get these leopard boas. I just think they're really, really cool looking. They have, like I said, a good temperament. And if I can just maybe show on camera the coloration of this beautiful snake. It's kind of like a Coke, a Coke or a Dr. Pepper color. And then again on the belly, it's really pink and kind of a red color and a cream. And then as we get down to the tail, and she's holding on pretty tightly to me, she probably wants to go back into her enclosure and cuddle up with my Nicaraguan boa that I have. They've been spending a lot of time together and, maybe trying to breed. I'm not into breeding or trying to produce babies to sell to make money, but, keeping boas together, they're likely to have some babies, and it's warm in here. Sweat's dripping down my face. But really cool patterns, and it kind of gets to a white stripe on towards her back of her tail. I just think this snake is so beautiful. Need to handle them a little bit more, but it's just very, very difficult to get them out. They're really happy in there, in their enclosure or this closet, this large space that I have them, which is working out really, really well. They're just very happy to be left alone in there. And so when I come to get them out, they're just not real stoked on that idea of coming out. I mean, I'm sure they maybe enjoy it once they're out here and they get some fresh air and they get to stretch out, but they're just so happy in there. They all just cuddle up together and ball up, and in the tight spaces that I provide them, I have different hide boxes, water, limbs, rocks. They just get in there and they get into a real small space, and then I try to pull them out and they balloon up, and their tail wraps around all the different rocks and limbs that I have in there, and it is tough to get them out. It's like pulling a child's tooth. If you've ever tried to pull a child's tooth, or if you were a child and you were having a tooth problem, and your parents were like, "We got to pull that tooth." It's like it's work pulling these snakes out. So this is Paisley. Next, I'm going to get my Carmela out, and that is my basically was just titled or described as a leopard boa. So this is a Sonoran leopard boa, and the leopard boas tend to be smaller boas. They tend to be the smaller breed, or you want to call them a dwarf, meaning that they probably will get about 3.5 feet to about 4.5 feet. A large one would be closer to 5 foot, but I think that most of my snakes are going to stay around the 4 foot to the 4.5 foot, even full grown, which makes them more manageable, easier to feed, easier to buy food, it costs less money, it's easier to cage them, it's easier for me to hold them instead of holding a 12-foot boa, and me just being an individual alone, with these snakes. I don't think it's a great idea to hold or interact with super large snakes by yourself, because that's when an accident can happen. But with a 4-foot to a 5-foot snake, it's more easy to get out of a situation if you get into a tough situation with one of these. It's not gonna be potentially as dangerous. And if these snakes decide they want to bite you, it's not nearly as bad as an 8-foot or a 10-foot or a 12-foot boa that will bite you. It's just very easy to take. If it happens, it doesn't happen often, but snakes, you're going to get bit. If you own a snake, you're going to get bit sometime. It's just the nature of the beast. But okay, let me go grab the other one. Staring into these bright lights is sort of difficult. Okay, well, I got this one out now. This was my first leopard boa that I got from Snakes at Sunset, and this one was tiny when I got her, and she's probably about 3.5, maybe getting up there to 3.5 years old, and this one was probably 12 inches when I got this one. So this one is about 3 foot now too, and this one is very, very different than the first snake, the first leopard, Sonoran leopard boa that I showed you. This one has a lot less patterns, and they're more on the top of the snake's body, but they're just very faint because it's a very dark, kind of a Coca-Cola, brown syrupy color, and then gets lighter as it goes down towards the belly, and not as quite. And let me just say this: I didn't know this, but Carmela here is about to shed. She's got a lot of blue tint to her. I didn't know this before I started making this video. They're up there and they stay in the little hide boxes and things that I have, and I just don't know what's going on with them. So she's a lot more gray and a lot more bluish tint to her because she's in the middle of shed. But this one is another beautiful snake. This was the one that I thought that I lost, that crawled into a crack that I never would have ever imagined a snake, of that size, of 12 inches long, or 13, 14 inches long, could have gotten into. And it took me 3 or 4 days, or up to like maybe 5 days, to discover where she was. I thought she'd disappeared, she'd gotten out, or in the worst case scenario, she was eaten by one of the other snakes because she just disappeared off the face of my house. But I found her, and it was 5 days later, and I was so happy. I screamed when I saw her little portion of her tail sticking out of this little small area that I never thought a snake could climb into. I was like, that's her, Carmela, I'm so happy. But this one has black eyes too as well. And the other one's head is a little bit more black. This one's a little bit more dark brown. And then this one, like I said, its colors are a lot more muted. They're going to be a lot more muted now anyways because she's shedding. But the kind of, a neat pattern in that brown, and it really shows that she's shedding on her belly because the color's really muted on her belly. And it's more of a cream colored with some unique pattern. It's so difficult. They want to go somewhere. It's difficult making these videos, but pretty neat little belly. But that's usually a little bit more cream colored on her belly. And it may be the LED light that I have too that's changing the colors a little bit. Hopefully it comes out, when I watch this on my big IMAX screen, I'll be pleased with the coloration and, they're seeing their patterns. But she has less pattern and less color. So I just always kind of want to relate to this one as being maybe a hypo leopard boa. I don't know. I just make that up. Again, I'm not a professional snake breeder or a person that's into the genetics of snakes. I just buy what I like, and then I just enjoy and raise them and just having them as pets. So I'm not necessarily into, I've got this type snake and this genetic and this name and this genus species. That's just not me. I just enjoy the snake for what it is, and have bought these for what I saw online. I was like, I like that. That's what I want, and I purchased it. So yeah, there's a little bit more, detail in her tail. Again, a female, black eyes, dark head. But hopefully you're enjoying this video as I'm sitting here sweating in my little snake and reptile room, per se. It's getting rather warm in here in the 80s, mid 80s. But let's see here. Let's see if I can wrangle this one up a little bit better. Just show you some of the pattern. It's you can see it. If you were here in person, you'd see it a lot better. Some more, white and speckles towards the tail. But both of them are about 3 to about 3.5 feet long, and they're probably similar in age. I got this one from Snakes at Sunset in Miami, if I didn't mention that already. I've made this video a couple times, and I wasn't happy with the first couple of versions, so I'm redoing it so I say things over and over again. But got this one from Snakes at Sunset in Miami, Florida. It's a breeder or a pet shop, and I've gotten most 99 or 95% of my reptiles from them. Been very, very happy with them, and gotten great animals. They haven't had mites. They've been healthy. They ate really well, and they've been really good temperament. Oh, what a pain. Well, here's a limb that I have from my chameleon. When he wants out of his cage, I can put the chameleon on this limb, and he gets on it and hangs out. So let me move that out of the way, as I almost broke the glass to that cage. Let's see. But I just wanted to say thank you to the people that are watching. I'm over 5,000 subscribers, and just hit over 5,300. So making progress slowly, but again, thank you. Appreciate the people watching, and that do want to make some comments, nice comments, and I appreciate y'all watching. So other than that, this is my Carmela. I called her Carmela because she kind of reminded me of a Carmela Tootsie Roll, and a caramel Tootsie Roll type thing. So Carmel, and a female name is Carmela, and because she just looks kind of that dark brown colored. And there you go. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully this is interesting. Someone gets something out of it. If you want to get interested in a leopard boa, a Sonoran leopard boa, there's probably about 5 different variations of leopard boas, and they can jump up there in price. I think let me just get my bearings. I think Carmela from Snakes at Sunset was like $349, and Snakes at Sunset tends to be very good pricing. Morph Market, you get into the $500 to $1,000 snakes, and so you're going to pay a lot more buying the leopard boas on Morph Market. And I just happened to find a couple of snakes left at the Snakes and Sunset, and they're just very reasonably priced. I think my Nicaraguan boa was $149, or they sometimes have Central American, Mexican type boas for like $99, and they're great snakes, in between $99 to $150, and then maybe sometimes $199, and then $50, $55 shipping. So, but much more affordable than the other places. So check out Snakes at Sunset. I don't get sponsored by them. I don't get anything for free, and but I just am a happy customer, and have bought some of my snakes and my 2 tegus from them. And so yeah, that's my video. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Leave a like for sure if you liked my video. If you didn't, don't do anything. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.